Yeah, man. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a special guest. This is Allie from Georgia, and she is not targeted, but she is the wife of a targeted individual, Greg, that I had on for an interview about a week or two ago. And his wife is standing by him, and she's going to give us her perspective on how things are for a close family member of a target today. So, how's it going, Allie?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah. So, personally, with my experience, when all of this started happening, I was single because the girl that did this to me was actually the one I had been seeing. But as far as close family members, it didn't go so well with my situation.
Yeah, when it started off with my husband, it was kind of really hard to wrap my mind around it. I was kind of under the assumption he was having something going on like that needed to be diagnosed. My mother and I, we actually kind of came into a point where we made my husband go to a crisis center to seek help.
Right.
And yeah, he just he told me while he was there that things were getting better, but then when he actually came home was when he told me it was just basically still the same. He was still hearing things while he was there. It didn't matter that he didn't have anything on him, nothing. Like he was still hearing this stuff.
Right, right. Well, it's a satellite broadcast, and I had a similar experience where my mother and my grandmother they decided that I must be losing my mind, so they went to a judge and had me committed. Where the sheriffs came to my house, and there was about six of them, and they took me away, and they took me to a crisis center where it was a mandatory evaluation, and it was you can't leave. You have to stay until they do their evaluation, and they're not trying to hear anything about this stuff. At the time, I was still trying to prove to them, and I had them get my phone out of the property, and I was trying to get them to listen to this and listen to that. But they're psychiatrists, and this is their business. So if they admit something like this, that's really bad for business. And also, the entire judicial system would have to be rewritten around this type of situation. So, I'm not really holding it against my mother and my grandmother because I can understand, but over time, I haven't gained much support from them, and I really, a while back, I just quit talking to them about it completely. So I admire you very much for standing by your husband, even though you're not dealing with this. What's that?
It definitely was not easy.
Right, right. So, I mean, it's not something that you experience, and most people that don't experience this, they have a lot of trouble wrapping their mind around it or even believing that it's possible.
Yeah, because when my husband was having just a really bad episode one day, it was just very hard to like believe him because you know how when you have a little freak out moment, you kind of lose credibility a bit with like close friends and family.
Right.
So like we were under the impression that he was having a mental issue, and for that, I'm a little hard of hearing. I'm a little deaf. And when he was talking about these voices and hearing these voices, I thought that it was just like roommates talking shit. Like I didn't think it was a mental thing. I just thought that I just couldn't hear it until like literally it would be dead quiet in the house, and I would have an app on my phone to record sounds at an amplified volume, and there's nothing from my end. And that's what like kind of started a bunch of events, which ended up with us moving out of the home that we were in. And now that we're here, kind of a little bit more isolated, and he's still experiencing this, I kind of started Googling what was wrong with him. I know that's not like the best thing to always do, but I literally Googled like tortured mind, hearing voices. Like with just the hearing voices, of course, schizophrenia came up. But with the whole literally being tortured, that's when the term targeted individual came up.
Right.
And there were actually a couple of articles about this, how people actually beat up about this. This goes on with thousands of people who have like different, backgrounds, they come from different places, different ages, but they all seem to have this thing in common. And that kind of like opened up a whole new thing for me. It took me a minute to kind of come around to accepting it. Honestly, a big part of the comfort is him watching your videos every day. And yeah, man, it kind of cheers me up a little bit because I know he's actually getting some comfort out of this. He's actually getting some information out of this, and that gives me comfort.
Right. Well, I'm glad that it can help people. Initially, really, I just started putting out videos because this was happening to me, and in the beginning, it was more difficult because I started out writing articles on Facebook, and then I was doing the SoundCloud stuff, and a lot of people were giving me a lot of grief about the things that I was saying because not that many people understood what was going on. But at the time, I wasn't friends with thousands of targeted people on Facebook, and I wasn't really a part of all the groups, and I didn't know about all this stuff. So I was just telling people what I was experiencing and how these gang stalkers operate, and a lot of people were giving me grief. But over time, I started to understand that a lot of people are going through the same thing. So, strength in numbers, it gives me a lot of confidence knowing that there's thousands of us that are going through the same thing, and everybody's experiencing the exact same thing, and I'm really certain about how it all works, and I'm glad to be able to spread that knowledge around to other people. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's like super, super helpful, and it's even have people like me who don't personally experience it definitely be a lot more open-minded to it and not completely dismiss it like I used to before.
Right. Well,
it's helped.
That's one of the most important things that we can do as targeted people is spread the word to people that are not experiencing this, because people that are not experiencing this, they're not thinking anything about it. And if you tell them about this bizarre kind of stuff, they automatically think that you're insane. But as the word spreads around and people that are not experiencing this start to understand it more, that's going to be a big deal, because those are the people those are the masses. Okay, this is not happening to the masses. But one thing that's it's probably scary to you, and you've probably started to understand this, but there is a good chance that whoever's targeting him has you on remote neural monitoring as well, and just not targeting you because that would give him credibility.
Yeah, like I remember when I was actually near my husband during his interview, hearing that, and I don't know why that never occurred to me before, but it would make sense. Also add on to the paranoia and add on to knowing things about our private life.
Right.
That definitely should not be known.
Well, they put the girl that put me on remote neural monitoring, she put my daughters and my brother and my mother and my grandmother and a couple of my close friends. I know for a fact that she has all of them on remote neural monitoring also. But the good thing is that none of them become targeted, at least the way that I'm targeted with the artificial telepathy and the gang stalking, because that would give me credibility. So she has to make sure that all these close people around me, she tries to make sure that they don't believe in this kind of thing to make me look like I'm just crazy experiencing all of this stuff. So, but it is pretty, I'm pretty positive that they're targeted at least by broadcast, by being connected to, which is very invasive. But, the fact that they don't know about it, it really comforts me to know that they're not being targeted like I am, because it's very difficult. It's a hard thing to go through.
Yeah, I've noticed that with my husband, it is hard to go to sleep at night, to just deal with life and just constantly have that voice in the background talking shit. Like, I can't say 100% with certainty that I know exactly how it feels, because I don't experience it on a freaking daily basis. I can only imagine as best as I can what it is. It's very frustrating for me, and God knows how frustrating it is for everyone else.
Right. It's very difficult to deal with. So he hears these people and they're broadcasting to him, but you don't hear it. And the reason is everybody has a specific EMF signature frequency, and if they're broadcasting to him, you're not going to hear it. Just like if somebody calls my cell phone, you're not going to hear it on your cell phone, even if you're standing right next to me, because my cell phone has a unique frequency, and the broadcast is only coming to that frequency. So it's really hard for people to believe in something that they can't experience when another person's sitting right next to them experiencing this. But it is definitely how it works. And so how was that for you?
Are you basically asking, like, how was it seeing him experience something that I have no, like, idea that he's dealing with?
Right, he's hearing things that you can't hear, but y'all are sitting right next to each other. So, I mean, how does that make you feel about it?
It's just very frustrating because my wrong for anything is just to relax my husband, left alone, and to actually feel 100% comfortable. And that's just, it just takes away a huge sense of privacy. So it's very heartbreaking, especially if my husband goes through this, but there's not really a whole lot I can do besides just support him and get them to believe him.
Right. Well, one thing that happened with me is I accidentally discovered ways that I could record these people, and that was with cell phone call apps, call recorder apps, and that's because the EMF broadcast is a microwave signal, and so are cell phones. Cellular is a microwave signal. So when somebody calls my phone, or when my phone's on a call and it's near me, then the broadcast can be intercepted as interference. So if you want to record it, that is the best way that I've discovered how to record artificial telepathy, because the broadcast is coming to him. So if you put a phone that's on a call recording, if you put that near him, it's likely that it'll pick up some of that broadcast as interference. And then once it's recorded onto the audio, then anybody can hear it after that.
Yeah, I am waiting a few days for data to reset, so I download that and like EMF readers and that kind of stuff.
Right. So do you guys experience the EMF meter going crazy?
Well, once my data resets is when I'm going to be able to download the app. I'm sure that once we download it, if we start going crazy, we'll be able to.
Actually, I'm here standing by, bro. I downloaded one, used it. It stayed at a steady, like, 15 to 16, unless I put it in something like a power trip or whatever.
And that's a good experience so far.
Yeah, it's only red, low numbers.
So far, alright.
I'm having a little technical difficulties with the call. It's kind of breaking up. I think it's better now. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband was just saying that he was only experiencing it like on low numbers because he downloaded an app on his Droid phone and it was only showing like 13, 14. Not numbers at all yet.
Okay. Well, make sure that it's one measuring in micro Teslas, and micro is it looks like a U, but it's got a long tail like a P, and then that's a symbol for micro, and then T is for Tesla, micro Teslas. And if you're measuring that, about 45 is the normal. If you're experiencing something lower than 45, then try to move it around and change the angle, because that can mean that the broadcast is at a specific angle and it draws power from one area to another area to strengthen the view from that area. But and above 45, it's probably a broadcast. But really, the Earth's magnetic field is stable around 45 on every device I've used, on every place I've been. So that's a good way to kind of gauge it.
Really else to know, actually.
Okay, so what else do you want to tell us about it? I mean, we've got a family member that's not being targeted, and I know it's got to be strange for you.
It definitely is strange because every now and then my husband will just talk shit back at what to me is nothing. Like, I won't hear anything, and so he'll pull out his earbuds and be like, I'm fucking tired of these fucking people. It is very frustrating because I have no idea what he's doing. So I'm not understanding why he's getting so stressed and so frustrated on what I feel like could easily be ignored in the background, but as you told me, the volume can change. Like it can be very, very loud and clear, and it can be very quiet, but either way, it's just constant is annoying. Someone's constantly in your ear. And
Right.
I don't know, it's just very weird to have my husband experience it and just be, not have anything to do with it at all. I have to keep an open mind and try to get frustrated and try to make things as easy as possible for him concerning everything else.
Yeah, it's kind of breaking up. I might have to edit. I might have to edit this part because it's kind of breaking up real bad. But
Sorry.
it's getting stuck on the. It's getting stuck too, and I can kind of see broadcast in the pictures where it's getting stuck at.
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear on our end.
That's coming through clear, so it must be mine. I don't know what's going on. Let me see.
In my back signal. Sorry.
Yeah. So does he ever? Do you ever hear him talking to them out loud and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes he will like just back to them, like, and also know that people he's just kind of repeating back to them what they're saying to him.
Yeah. Does it ever
That's all.
become normal?
I think some days are easier than others.
Right.
Like some days you can't just ignore it, and some days he absolutely just cannot let him ignore it. It's just pissing him off.
Right. Well, it's a broadcast directly to him, to his mind, so it is very difficult to ignore. Especially the higher they turn up the broadcast, the higher the power. Like it could get bad. Like you can almost just when they're talking, you can almost just want to talk along with them. It's like a mind control to make you want to talk along with whatever they're saying, and they like to do that to me. They'll turn the power way up and then try to talk real slow, and it like drags you in to want to talk along with them, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. I mean, it's difficult. It really is difficult to deal with.
And it's hard for me to not get caught up in all the stress and frustration because I'm just laying there playing video games, trying to enjoy time with him, and he can't relax. He can't lay down all the way. He can't have any peace of quiet without having to take something to help.
Right. Right. And it's the same way with me, and it's very difficult. I'm thankful that you stand by him because it is a difficult thing to go through, and I hope that you don't become targeted. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't know what's going to happen, but the goal is definitely to get the neural monitoring so we can control our own settings. But at this time, we really need the masses of people to wake up like you have to the existence of this technology.
I just hope that just from me being aware, it's at least helping any for him.
Right. Okay, so I'm running out of time. Is there anything else you want to make a closing statement about?
Not really, except it really doesn't hurt for people to be more open-minded about this kind of stuff,
I
especially
agree.
if you don't experience it yourself.
Right. Okay, everybody, this is Allie from Georgia. She's not targeted, but she stands by her husband, Greg, who is, and we all appreciate that. And I hope you guys will tune in next time.
Thank you.